Now, Sri Lanka has seen much suffering over the past 3 decades, an on-off civil war between government forces and rebel Tamil tigers claiming tens of thousands of lives in 1983 and 2009. Now that the insurgency is over, how is the South Asian island nation faring? Well, our regular music reviewer, the BBC's DJ Nihal, has been in Sri Lanka making a documentary about how the island's music scene has changed since the Tamil tigers' surrender last year. While there, he got to talk to many of the key players, including the DJ and record label owner Krishan, who told him about the new mood of optimism, how music was helping to bring communities together again after years of conflict. An excited Krishan began by telling Nihal how he'd recently been to the former no-go zone city of Jaffna to play a massive concert in front of thousands of people.
It was about 120,000 people, Nihal. That was the reception. I mean, they have not seen anything in ages, Nihal. I'm talking about 30 years, 30 plus years. They have not had entertainment. I mean, rap music is new to them, but still they are very inviting towards the music that's coming out from Sri Lanka.
Krishan talking to you while you were in Sri Lanka. What about his music? Because I'm intrigued. The track you've brought in, to me, sounds like it's almost like Cossack dancing set to sort of a big percussive, sort of almost a wall of sound he creates. So what's unique about his music?
Well, every country has its own folk music. In the Punjab, it's Bhangra, and in Sri Lanka, amongst the Sinhalese community, it's Baila music, and in the Tamil community, it's Ghana music. And he's taken those Ghana rhythms, which people may be familiar with because of Boys by MIA. They are Ghana rhythms, South Indian Tamil rhythms. It's like a wall of percussion coming at you, and it's just so uplifting. And he's mixed that with electronica, with R&B stroke electronica, kind of synth stabs and chords.
Krishan and Untitled, another track you brought with you. You love your beats, you love your dance, all sorts of mix.
You know me so well.
You've got a classic here. Miss Chai.
Yeah, Miss Chai. Well, Miss Chai and Yashan. Yashan is the new breed. He's this young guy on a block. He's a radio presenter in Sri Lanka. He's, in his early 20s, he's fly, he's brought up with this kind of hip-hop mentality, big jeans and hoodies. And I really like this track. I think it's a fantastic hook to it. It's not just about vibe. Sri Lankans have a real ear for melody, and I think this illustrates that perfectly.
Got me going like, she's moving like, she do it like, I'm off my patience and I want it like, yeah. Yo, call me Yash, I'm a young king in the game, whole city know my name, I'm both the chain.
Pem Hansire from Miss Che, featuring Yashan.
Yashan.
That's a weird mix. You've got the traditional beginning, a hint of what you would expect from world music, and then you've got the rap in English bursting into the middle of it.
I know. That's a sign of the feeling now that we are part of the world community. It's not easy on the psychology to often only hear about yourself in international terms because of suicide bombings or because of military conflict or terrorism. And young Sri Lankans are now looking outwards, and Yashan is just a perfect example of the energy, the effervescence.
I can hear something Sri Lankan in both the 2 tracks we've played so far. This next one, for me, could have been made anywhere. It's got the beats, it's got the funky feel, it's got synths, it's got vocal. I can see you down the nightclub in Colombo bopping away at 2 a.m. in the morning to this, but it could be anywhere, couldn't it?
Well, that's kind of the point. Ranadu is a guy who I've played on this show with you before, and he lives now in San Francisco, so he's got a very much global, but he's profoundly proud of his Sri Lankan roots. And he said to me, this is the first Sinhalese Sri Lankan electro record. So, as you rightly say, there is nothing Sri Lankan. There's not a single bit of Sri Lankan percussion in this track, but there is the language, of course, and that's what's great about it. It's a case of, look, we are who we are, we're proud of who we are, but we don't have to be defined by it. We don't, every track we do, have to have a village drummer that we bring out of the village and out of obscurity and make sure he puts something on the track to make us more Sri Lankan.
Quite right. Sri Lankan electro.
That was Rani Do with Mage Agariye, and it's the beginning of a new birth of creativity for him. And I think India is the market they're looking for. They're not looking at the West, but a lot of the Sinhalese artists are doing Tamil tracks because they know that there are tens of millions of Tamils in South India who will buy into that music. And let's face it, if you had 1 billion people on your doorstep and all the stories about just how rich and how forward-thinking and fast-moving that economy is, you'd probably look at that as well.
Looking to the future, DJ Nihal on Sri Lanka's newly emerging contemporary club scene. Coming up over the next few days on the Strand, the composer Steve Reich, Welsh opera singer Bryn Terfel, Norwegian crime writer and former government minister Anne Holt helps us to read her country, and how a stay in China inspired Canadian band Cowboy Junkie's latest album. Very good it is too. For me, Mark Coles, and producer Andrea Kidd. Thanks for listening.